The trading floor of Hale and Associates hums like a machine that has never been switched off. 40 desks, glass and steel pressing upward on all sides. The noise of money in motion, keyboards, murmured figures, the low percussion of certainty. Kai Shen walks through it without looking at any of it. He is 34 years old, dressed without flourish, moving at a pace that is unhurried in a way that reads, to anyone watching, as confidence. He does not check his phone. He does not nod at the people who nod at him. His hands hang still at his sides. He stops at the window at the far end of the floor. Below, the city, tightly packed and indifferent. Above, his own reflection. He looks at neither for long. He looks at his watch instead. 7:58. 2 years, 4 months, and 11 days before he was supposed to die. He turns back toward the elevator. His office is small, deliberately so. A junior VP's room in a building full of men performing their importance through square footage. Kai has never performed importance. That was always the thing they failed to understand about him. He sat down, opened the leather notebook on his desk, and looked at what was inside. A grid of 6 names written in his own hand. 5 of them had a faint pencil line drawn through them. The 6th did not yet. He closed the notebook, placed it in the drawer, locked it. The memory came without warning, the way it always did. A conference room 2 years older and 4 floors up. 6 men seated around a table, none of them looking at him. The door had closed behind the last one to enter. No one spoke. The silence was the answer. It had always been going to be the silence. Kai had turned toward the glass wall. Through it, a corridor, the lights dim, and at the far end of it, Mara, in a dark coat. Her palm pressed flat against the glass. Her mouth open, saying something. He could not hear it. He had never been able to hear it. Then the lights in the corridor went out. He blinked. The trading floor returned. His coffee was still warm. He picked it up. A knock at the open door pulled him back the rest of the way. Daniel Yoon leaned in the frame, 27 years old, junior analyst, with the particular quality of a man who has been frightened for so long that nervous energy has become his resting state. "Mr. Shen," Daniel said. Chairman Hale's office moved the board review to 9. "I know," Kai said. Daniel waited for something more. There was nothing more. He left. Kai looked at his watch. 40 minutes. He drank his coffee. Victor Hale entered the boardroom last, as he always did, because he had understood early in his life that rooms belong to the person who arrives when everyone else is already waiting. He was 58, silver-haired and easy in his body in the way of men who have never seriously doubted themselves. He clapped 2 board members on the shoulder before he sat. He did not clap Kai's shoulder. Raymond Chu distributed the quarterly reports. Kai did not open his. He already knew what was in it. More relevantly, he knew what wasn't. "Strong quarter," Hale said. "Let's acknowledge that before we dismantle it." Polite laughter moved around the table. Kai did not laugh. "Shen, walk us through the meridian position." It was not a request. It was a test. Hale believed there was a problem with the meridian file, and he wanted to watch Kai fail to find it. "Meridian is down 14% on paper," Kai said, opening the folder in front of him. "It will recover by the end of Q3. "That's optimistic," Hale said. "It's a projection based on supply chain data from the Port Authority filings, which came in this morning." Kai paused. Page 41. The room shifted. Hale had not seen that data. No one at the table had seen that data. "Where did you?" Hale started. "Public record," Kai said. "You can pull it yourself." He closed the folder and placed his hands flat on the table. Still, Hale held the silence 1 beat longer than was comfortable. Then he smiled, the broad, practiced smile that had opened doors for 30 years. "Let's keep an eye on it," he said, and moved on. The room exhaled. Kai did not. He had not been holding his breath. Grace Park fell into step beside him in the corridor without invitation. She was the firm's head of communications, immaculate in all senses of the word, her function in any given moment to locate the story and contain it before it became one. "Good instinct in there," she said. "The chairman appreciates people who have their materials ready." "Does he?" Kai said. "It's a narrative opportunity. You should let me help you build one." "I'll let you know," he said, and turned left. She had been expecting right. She stopped walking and watched the space where he had been. Mara Shen was waiting in the lobby, in the coat she'd had since before they were married, the one she never upgraded because it fit and fitting was enough. She did not dress for this building. She never had. That had always been one of the things Kai loved about her in the life before this one. She saw him come through the security gate and something moved across her face, relief, and then immediately behind it, the worry she had been keeping company with for 2 years. "You didn't answer my texts," she said. "Board meeting." "I know, I waited." She studied his face the way she had studied it every day for 2 years in this timeline, looking for the version of him she'd married and finding something adjacent to it, familiar in shape, altered in some quality she couldn't name. "Are you all right?" she asked. "Yes," he said. "Kai." "I'm fine, Mara." She looked at his hands, still. She had noticed this before, months ago, and had not said anything. She did not say anything now either. "Dinner tonight," she said. "7," he said. Then he walked through the revolving door and into the city, and she stood in the lobby watching the space where he had been, the same way Grace Park had done 4 minutes earlier, for entirely different reasons. 2 floors up, Raymond Chu sat behind his closed door with his phone pressed hard against his ear, speaking in the low, fast voice of a man doing arithmetic he doesn't like the answer to. "The variance isn't showing in the consolidated report," he said. "It's in the subledger, which means it only surfaces if someone runs a reconciliation against the original filings, which nobody does. So, yes. I'm aware I've been aware." He hung up, opened his laptop, navigated to a folder labeled Admin Archive. The folder was empty. 3 floors below in the server room, a terminal window blinked once and went dark. The files were somewhere else now. The restaurant was small, and not the kind of place Kai used to take her to back when he had been performing success for an audience he no longer believed in. This was the kind of place he actually liked. She had noticed the change months ago and had not asked about it. They ate in the comfortable silence of 2 people who have run out of need to fill space. Kai cut his food into precise portions. Mara watched him do it. "Raymond Chu left early today," she said eventually. Kai did not look up, did he? Looked like he'd seen something in his office. Now he looked up. "You were on the boardroom floor," he said. "I had a filing to drop off. I saw him through the glass." A pause. "You don't look surprised," Mara said. "Raymond startles easily." Kai said. She set her fork down. She looked at him the way she had been looking at him for 2 months, not with suspicion exactly, but with the focused attention of someone trying to read a document in a language they almost speak. "Kai, what are you doing?" "Having dinner with my wife," he said. She held his gaze. He let her. For just a fraction of a second longer than usual, just long enough for her to see that there was more, that there had always been more, and then the fraction ended and he picked up his wine glass. "Be careful," she said. "Always," he said. She did not tell him that wasn't true. They both knew it wasn't true. The emergency board meeting 2 days later had the controlled chaos of a ship where everyone knows they are taking on water, but no one has agreed yet on what to call it. Raymond Chu stood at the head of the table, speaking in paragraphs so dense with technical language that their function was clearly to delay rather than inform. Hale sat at the far end, watching Kai. "An isolated discrepancy in the subledger reconciliation," Raymond was saying, "not material to the overall position, and we're working to identify the source of the—" "Raymond," Hale said, "just the name, nothing else." Raymond stopped. "Plain language," Hale said. Raymond's throat moved. "There's a gap in the Meridian accounts, a significant one." "How significant?" Hale said. The room held its breath. 43 million, Kai said. Everyone turned to look at him. He did not stand up. He did not raise his voice. "Distributed across 6 subledger entries between March and November of last year," he continued. "If you cross-reference the original wire confirmations with the consolidated report Raymond presented in Q4, the variance is—" He placed a single sheet of paper on the table and pushed it toward the center, self-evident. The room was very quiet. Raymond Chu was looking at the paper the way a man looks at the thing that has ended him. "Where did you get?" Raymond started. Your own archive, Kai said. You left it on the firm server until 3 days ago. Did you think that was the same as deleting it? Hale's hands were flat on the table now. Kai, let's take this offline. The board's already online. Kai nodded toward the screen at the far end of the room. 8 remote attendees, board members, 3 of them independent directors, all watching. I sent the reconciliation to the audit committee at 7 this morning. They opened it at 7:04. For the first time in the meeting, Hale looked at something other than Kai. He looked around the table face by face, the way he had always done when he needed to locate the lever that would move things back into place. He had always found it before. Not one face moved toward him. Raymond, Kai said, standing, buttoning his jacket. The firm's legal counsel is waiting in conference room B. They'd like to speak with you before the regulators arrive. He picked up his folder. That's all I had. He left. He took the stairs down alone, no expression, one hand on the railing, still. Daniel Yoon was pulling files from a shelf when Kai entered the archive room and closed the door behind him. Daniel went very still in the way of small animals that hope the larger animal has not noticed them. I heard about the meeting, Daniel said. Word travels, Kai said. Raymond's going to know it was, not that it was me, but... It wasn't you, Kai said. The archive files were publicly accessible on the internal server. Anyone could have pulled them. Daniel looked at him for a long moment. You know about the document, he said. The one from before. Kai waited. The planning meeting, October 2 years ago. Daniel's voice had gone quieter and more careful. I was there to take notes. I wasn't supposed to be, they didn't notice me at first, and I stayed because I didn't know how to leave, and by the time I understood what I was hearing it was too late to unhear it. He reached into the bottom of a file box, produced an envelope. His hand was not entirely steady. I couldn't throw it away, Daniel said. I tried 4 times. I kept thinking somebody should have it, that it should exist somewhere in case. He held it out. Kai took the envelope. He did not open it. How long have you had this? He said. 2 years, almost exactly. A silence that was not unkind. Go home, Daniel, Kai said. Take the rest of the day, tomorrow too. What are you going to? I'm going to read it, Kai said. He left. Daniel stood in the archive room in the aftermath of it, feeling, for the first time in 2 years, as though he weighed slightly less than he had that morning. Kai sat in his car in the underground parking level for a long time before he opened it. Inside, handwritten meeting notes, 6 names, a date he already knew, decisions that had already been made the last time he walked into that boardroom and found the doors waiting for him. And then at the bottom of the last page, different handwriting, smaller, faster, clearly added later in a moment that had to be private. Asterisk, I tried. I'm sorry. Kai read it twice. He folded the page back along its crease, placed it in the envelope, set the envelope on the passenger seat. He sat with his hands in his lap. The parking level was silent around him. The engine was off, still, but different now. Victor Hale sat behind his desk with Grace Park across from him, and the room felt smaller than it used to, not in square footage but in some quality of the air. He had the archive files, Hale said. He had access I didn't know existed. Someone helped him, Grace said. Raymond? Raymond is too frightened to be useful. She crossed one leg over the other. Someone with proximity, someone who's been in the building long enough to know where things are kept. Hale tapped one finger on the surface of his desk. He was thinking through the pattern the way he always did, backward from result to cause, identifying the variable he had not accounted for. He'll move faster now, Hale said. He knows I know he's moving. Then we move first, Grace said. We have the Voss account. The conflict of interest question. If his wife's firm is found to have an undisclosed relationship with the Meridian position, it becomes his exposure, not ours. We use her. Make the call, Hale said. Grace left. Hale remained. He looked at the framed photograph on the corner of his desk. 4 men 10 years ago at some dinner neither table setting nor occasion could be recalled now. All 4 of them were laughing. 3 of those men were gone now, their own decisions returned to them. He didn't know it yet, but so was he. Kai was at the kitchen table when Mara came home. The envelope was open in front of him. His water glass was untouched. He had not turned on any extra lights. She stopped in the doorway when she saw his face. Not frightened, Mara Shen did not frighten easily, but alert in the way of a person who has learned to read the space between the word and the silence. "What happened?" she said. He slid the notes across the table. She sat. She read. Her expression did not change exactly, it became more specific, more tired. The way a face looks when it is done pretending something hasn't been heavy. "Where did you get this?" she said. "It doesn't matter." "Kai, you were there," he said. "I wasn't in that meeting, you knew about it." "Yes," she said. The words sat in the room between them. "I found out 3 days before," she said. "A client, one of Hale's people, mentioned it by accident. I went to the compliance board. They told me to bring documentation or don't come back. I didn't have documentation yet." "You could have told me," Kai said. "I was going to that night." She looked at the table, "and then they called me, Hale's office. They told me what would happen to you if I said anything to anyone, including you." Silence. "You wrote on the document," Kai said. "I found Daniel after. I needed someone to have it, in case something happened to me." She looked up. "It was all I could do." Kai looked at her. For the first time since the reset, he looked at her without measuring anything, without calculating what the look revealed, what it cost, what it might be used for. "You protected me," he said. "I failed to protect you," she said. "That's different." "It isn't," he said. She held his gaze. He let her. "Mara, stop running that case in your head. It's over." "It isn't over. Whatever you're doing." "It will be," he said. "Soon, and then it will be over." She searched his face for the thing that would explain this, the certainty, the calm, the quality of him that had been different for 2 years now and that she had not been able to name. She had almost named it once or twice, and then pulled back from the naming because it was impossible. She looked down at the document, at her own handwriting at the bottom of the last page. She did not ask anything else. Daniel was waiting at the elevator the next morning, and the look on his face when he saw Kai was the look of a man who had been lying awake since midnight doing the math on every bad outcome. "They called me last night," Daniel said. "Hale's office. They know I had the document. I don't know how, not exactly, but they know. And they have my NDA from when I started. They said they'd use it. The financial penalty alone would." He stopped, tried again. "I can't afford it, Mr. Shen." "Is it in writing?" Kai asked. "What? The threat? Did they put it in writing?" "They called me." "Did you record it? A beat, a long one?" "My phone was on the table," Daniel said. I didn't think to." "That's all right," Kai said. "Don't worry about the NDA. Mr. Shen, they will actually." "Daniel," Kai waited until Daniel was looking at him. "I need you to go to your desk, do your work, and let me handle this. Can you do that?" Daniel looked for the trap in the reassurance, the thing that would arrive later and be worse than what he was currently afraid of. He did not find it. "Yeah," he said. "Okay." The elevator arrived. They went in different directions. Kai's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen and felt something tighten in his chest, not fear, not exactly. Something older. It was Mara's office number. He answered. "Where are you?" "I went to see Victor Hale." Her voice was steady, which was worse than if it had been frightened. Kai stopped walking. "Mara, he agreed not to move against you if I—" "He agreed to nothing," Kai said. "Get out of that building." "I have documentation he doesn't know I have. As leverage, it should be enough to buy us." "It won't be enough, and he knows it won't be enough, and you are alone in a room with him." He kept his voice level. "Leave, right now." A pause on the line. "I'm not going to let him take everything again," she said, quietly. The word asterisk again, asterisk landing in the space between them. She had not said anything that direct in 2 years. "You are not going to be the one who ends this," Kai said. "I need you to leave." Silence. Then, "He already knows, Kai. Whatever plan you have, he's ahead of it. He told me." "He isn't." "How can you possibly?" "Because I know Victor Hale," Kai said. "And he says that to everyone he has ever destroyed. He said it to me 3 years ago. It is the last thing he says before he thinks he's won." A longer silence. He heard her stand, heard her heels on a hard floor. "He's going to use the gala tonight," she said. "He told me, whatever he's planning to do, it's tonight." "I know," Kai said. "You know," she said. I've known for a week. Go home. I'll come find you after." The line went quiet. Then she hung up. Kai stood in the corridor alone, looked at his watch, and kept walking. The charity gala occupied the ballroom of a hotel that had been grand for long enough that it had stopped trying to prove it. 300 people Kai had known and unknown and known again, drinking carefully and saying the right things to each other. He arrived alone, took a glass of water, found a position near the edge of the room that allowed him to see the entrance, the stage, and Hale's table simultaneously. He had been standing there for 4 minutes when Grace Park noticed him. He saw her make a small, precise adjustment, a recalibration. She had not expected him here. Good. Hale took the stage at 9. He had the ease of a man who had given this speech in different forms for 14 years. The warm laughter, the acknowledgement of donors, the careful sincerity. He was very good at it. Kai had once admired it. "What I've learned," Hale said, "is that the measure of an institution is not its best days. It's what it does when someone tests it." His eyes moved over the room and found Kai in the crowd. He held the look for 1 second longer than necessary. "And recently we've had such a test, an internal matter, an employee who, despite our trust and our investment in his career, has chosen to act outside the bounds of." A murmur moved through the room, faces turning. "I think it's important to name these things directly," Hale said, "to protect the people in this room. Kai Shen has been operating an undisclosed consulting arrangement that conflicts directly with his fiduciary." Kai's phone buzzed against his palm. He looked at it. A message from the independent board chairman, * regulatory filing confirmed received. 9:03 p.m. * He put his phone in his jacket pocket. "Chairman Hale," he said. He did not raise his voice. Somehow the room heard him anyway. Hale stopped. "The audit committee filed with the securities regulator at 7 this morning," Kai said, from exactly where he was standing. "The filing references the subledger reconciliation, the October planning meeting, and a pattern of coerced non-disclosure agreements going back 9 years." The room was very quiet. "The independent directors received a full briefing at 8, Kai continued. "3 of them are in this room right now. Near the bar, 3 men did not look up from their drinks. The not looking was itself a statement. The documentation was submitted by the audit committee," Kai said, "not by me, which means there is no conflict of interest to assert." Hale gripped the podium. "This is not the place to." "You chose the place," Kai said. Silence, complete and total. "You've done this 4 times, Victor. I know their names, the board knows their names, the regulator knows their names." He set his water glass on the table beside him. "I think the remarks are finished." Hale looked around the room, face to face. He had done this his entire career, located the person who would reach out and steady him, the hand that would appear. It always appeared. Not one face moved toward him. Raymond Chu stood up quietly from his table and walked toward the exit. Nobody stopped him. Nobody looked at him. Grace Park already had her phone out and was already calculating whether the narrative was manageable. It was not manageable. She put the phone down. Hale stepped back from the podium. He looked at Kai across the room, across the 150 people standing between them who were now looking at neither of them. "I made you," Hale said, quietly, almost private. "You made a version of me you thought you understood," Kai said. He picked up his water glass. "There's a security team in the lobby," he said. "They've been there since 8. He walked toward the exit. The room parted for him, the way rooms part for men who do not need them to. The night air was cold and unceremonious. The city below the gala steps did not know or care what had just happened inside. Kai stood at the top, loosening his tie by 1 notch, the single visible concession to the fact that anything had just occurred. Then he descended. Mara was at the bottom. She was not supposed to be here. She had come anyway. She was in the dark coat. He walked down to her and they stood together on the pavement with the light from the hotel entrance catching the side of her face and the sounds of the city around them. "Is it done?" she said. "Yes," he said. She nodded, looked at the city. "What do we do now?" He considered this carefully, the way he considered everything, not rushing toward an answer just because the question had been asked. "There's something I need to tell you," he said. "About what happened 3 years ago, the night he stopped, started again differently. You were at the glass at the end of the corridor. I saw you." He paused. "I thought something," he said, "about what it meant that you were there. I was wrong about what I thought." A moment between them. She understood what he was not able to say directly, that he had seen her and misread it, had carried that misreading forward through everything that came after, and was only now on these steps setting it down. She did not make him explain it further. "Okay," she said. He nodded once, looked back at the city. She took his hand still for so long, still through everything moved. Closed around hers, they stood there, the light above them, the city below, both of them intact. The office was the same. The man behind the desk was not. Kai sat in Victor Hale's chair for the first time. He had not been invited to sit there. He did not need to be. He opened the leather notebook, the plain, unremarkable one, and looked at the grid of 6 names inside it. All 6 now had a faint pencil line through them. He closed it, placed it in the desk drawer, locked it. He looked out the floor-to-ceiling window. Below, the city, tight and indifferent and moving. Above, his own reflection in the glass looking back at him, the same face it had always been, altered in some quality that could not be named from the outside but which he could feel from within, the way you feel a weight you have been carrying set down. He heard the door open behind him. He did not turn around. He did not need to. In the glass, Mara's reflection joined his. Neither of them spoke. The city did not know it had changed. It would find out.